Thanks for joining the Mobile Car Doctor today. We're looking at a 1992 Dodge Dakota. It has a 318 motor in it. The truck has been known not to start or start when it wants to start. Oh, that's kind of crazy, I told my friend. So let's take a look at it. I wiped this off so we can see what the check engine light does and see if it's on. I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. We'll see what happens with the check engine light. Okay, it goes off. Let's try to crank it up. Oh, look at that. She started right up. First of all, I gotta let you know, if you want to know what codes are in a 1992 Dodge Dakota, you put the key in to read the code, turn it all the way on, wait till all the lights go off, then one click back, 1, 2, 3. Now your check engine light over here will go into diagnostic mode. When it does, it'll start flashing. When it flashes, write the number of times that it flashes down on a piece of paper. Then when it pauses, stop doing that. You see how that was? We're going to try it again. Over here, I'm going to go ahead and do it. 1, 2, 3. As soon as it turns off, you can start your diagnostic. Start. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess that's it. So the 1 and the 2 would be considered a 12, and the 12 would mean that you're going into diagnostic mode. So you can ignore that code right off the bat because you know you're doing diagnostic mode, okay? The 5-5 is basically a computer check showing that the computer is clear and there are no codes. That's how you do a computer check. Code check on a 1992 Dodge Dakota. This has a 318 in it. But I need to find out why it dies. And the only way you do that is to get that light to come on and get a code. I'm thinking it's the crankshaft position sensor. It could be low fuel pressure. When you turn the key on, you should hear the pump come on and go, click. There it is. It started right up. Actually sounds great, other than the oil leak. I don't hear any problem with it right now. I'm going to watch that RPM gauge. If it starts to flicker, then it could be an electrical issue that's causing that. Some computers read it. If you miss number 1 cylinder, the car will die, but you shouldn't have a problem starting. See, there's no idle change with my ears. I don't hear the engine doing anything weird, but I see that trying to go down and go back up. And RPM is measured by the speed of some moving part. I mean, I'm no genius, but I'm kind of looking at that like that's probably in the area where it's at, and once in a while it won't read it. So it's probably some gadget that plugs into the motor or the transmission that's a speed sensor or senses a gear that moves. Sometimes it almost not wants to read it, and then it just reads it. Probably really dirty and caked up. Oh, there it goes again. So we're going to take a look around and we're going to find out exactly what it is. See that? It's not changing the idle or anything. I can hear it with my ears, but it just flickers. And then when it does jump, sometimes, see, there's no change. And the computer does read So it does know that there's some very small fraction of a change going on, so the RPM gauge is taking that in. It's like, oh, hey, I just found out 34 millivolts are coming through. Oh, I found out 280 millivolts are coming through. So this little needle is actually telling us that some moving part is losing millivolts on the count through the computer. It hasn't died, so there's no check engine light coming on. And once it does die, you're not going to be able to see this on your needle. So if it's already dead, the odds are, and you can't start it, it's going to be the crankshaft position sensor. Right now, that's where I'm leaning for that, or a speed sensor. So after looking up some more information, I'll be able to find out from my friend exactly what's going on here. By the way, if you want to know the location of that part, let me take you around while it's running. You may not be able to hear me because this is a pretty badass freaking engine. So I'm going to walk around the engine. See, there it goes again. Yeah, I think that's some sort of a signal that's getting a low input or low output or a high output from the computer, saying that there's a part that seems to skip around and miss when it wants to, or when it gets hot it might expand and then it's giving too many millivolts to the computer and it just shuts it down and won't allow it to start. So let's go ahead and walk around this vehicle. I'm going to leave it running. We need to get it hot. I want to see it die so I can do some more testing. Here we go. 1992 Dodge Dakota. Over here on the passenger side, you can see where this ball is. You go right to the right of this ball and look straight down. Straight down. Move these wires out of the way, like such. Right down there, let me turn the light on. Right down there, there's a wire that goes across the transmission, and it goes right underneath there. It's mounted right there underneath the intake underneath the valve cover, and it's right on the other side of the exhaust return pipe. I don't know if you could hear me, so I'll repeat myself. My old lady hates me when I do that. So it's over there on the passenger side. It's on top of the bell housing of the transmission, which makes sense. It's a turning part, and it's got a register that it's on, and that it's hitting the number 1 location on the cylinder, so it does not die. Other things could be a problem, like the distributor could be loose, and if it doesn't read the number 1, then it may just decide to flicker around and do that as well. So you can see if it's loose, try to turn the whole thing. Just a fraction of a hair, but if you're still having the problem that I was showing you on the dash, and the truck's not running, then there's going to be a little challenge for you. So I'd leave that alone, and I would just shoot for the crankshaft position sensor. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope you learned something. Thank you.